Your Omaha High with Andy Greenberg is being sponsored by Best Buy Signs, creator of the Omaha Parks Program, OmahaFastFoods.com, Certified Transmission, Sholdit, Rotella's Italian Bakery, La Peeps Restaurant, Two Men and a Truck, Shout Weekly, Critter Control, Russ Kaplan Investments. Welcome to Your Omaha High with Andy Greenberg, the show that will leave you feeling great about yourself, Omaha's heroes, and Omaha, where we live, work, and play. So park yourself on the bench and have fun. Hi, and welcome to this week's edition of Your Omaha High with Andy Greenberg, the show that you tune into each and every week. Why? Because you want to get that great feeling about what? About yourself, about the city of Omaha, and a wonderful nonprofit organization, and of course some terrific people who have done magnificent things with their life. And I got to tell you something, you are in for a treat today because we have two marvelous individuals who have done great things with their lives. And they're going to inspire you, they're going to teach you, and we're going to learn from an 8th grader, and we're going to learn from a 7-year-old. And by the time this show is over, you're going to walk away with some great memories of these individuals. We have Emily Lenzer with us, who is the Nebraska Jr national teenager, and we have 7-year-old Lennon Bradley, who's a Nebraska Junior princess. I can't wait to talk to you guys later. I know all about you, and everybody is going to learn about you. But first, what we're going to do, before we do the 1-minute nonprofit organization message, we're going to start off with our 2 of the 3 motivational vignettes. So what do you say we get started right now? You know, during this season of gift giving, people always go out and they buy these magnificent gifts. They put so much thought behind it. It could be Mother's Day, it could be Father's Day, it could be Christmas, it could be Easter time. And we go out to the stores and we look for the perfect gift. But here's the question. When we present that gift, do we just give them a box? Of course not. What we do is we gift wrap it. We go to that store. We want to make sure that every corner of that gift wrapping is so beautifully done. And then, of course, we put the bows on top, because when we give that package with that wonderful gift on the inside, we want to make sure the wrapping is there. We want to get their expectations set so high. Now, in life, believe it or not, each and every one of us is a gift. But how well do we do our own gift wrapping? Do we get up in the morning and pick something from the closet and say, this is good enough, I mean, who cares? Or do we really take the opportunity to groom ourselves, to gift wrap ourselves? Because if we take so much time in gift wrapping a package, there's no better package than us. So what we should do is take as much pride in gift wrapping ourselves when we go outside, and even when we're inside, even when we see our husband, even when we see our wife, even when we see our partners or our children. We want to look the best. We want to have the best impression so that when they see us, they'll know that inside each and every one of us is something special just for them. So what are you going to do? From now on, continue to gift wrap yourself for others. And you know, around this time of the year, you're probably not aware of it, but there are executives in Hollywood and executives in New York City, and they are preparing for TV shows coming up in the fall. Now, here's a very interesting thing. Most of the new shows will have actors and actresses you and I have never heard of, but they went ahead and they did a pilot. They went ahead and said to themselves, no matter what it takes, I will get my own TV show. I will be either a supporting person on a show or I will be the star. And all these new stars will come up in fall. They made the journey. They never stopped. They went ahead and practiced their craft. Now, you know what? You too can be a TV star, not necessarily with your own TV show, but with a better job where you work, with higher stature, with higher pay, with higher promotions. And yes, you probably have been turned down for a promotion. You probably have been turned down for a raise. And you probably have given up. Let's all take a very valuable lesson from each one of these up-and-coming stars. And that is, continue to practice, continue to audition, continue to travel the road, even though there are obstacles that are placed in front of it. Because when you do, come this fall, come promotion time, come raise time, or anything that you want to achieve, anything that you want to aspire to, when you put the effort into it, when you go ahead and work on your skills, when you work on your talents, you know what's going to happen? Someone's going to say to you, you are up next, and we are ready for you. So when you combine these two motivational vignettes about gift wrapping yourself and about thinking of the new TV stars coming up, they're only talking about one person, and that's you. It is this time during the show that we always have our nonprofit organization that we talk about. And today we're going to be talking about the Autism Center of Nebraska. Listen very carefully. Becoming a valued member of the community is what the Autism Center of Nebraska is all about. A small nonprofit agency, ACN provides a variety of residential, vocational, and educational services and supports to nearly 160 children and adults with autism and other developmental disabilities. ACN provides teaching that is customized to each person and designed to lead the greater independence. At the Autism Center of Nebraska, the focus is on building relationships. ACN believes that every person is a valuable member of the community. Every person deserves respect. Every person is entitled to choice, and every person can grow and learn. And it works. The dedicated professionals at the Autism Center of Nebraska embrace the worth of all people, and because of their work, Omaha becomes a stronger community. For more information, visit www.autismcenterofnebraska.org. And now, the time we've all been waiting for. You see these two people on camera? They are marvelous. Let me introduce you to Emily Lenzer, who is the Nebraska Junior National Teenager. Welcome so much to the show. Can't wait to start talking to you.
Thank you.
And you are a 7-year-old who's absolutely adorable. We're going to meet Lennon Bradley, who's a Nebraska Junior princess. Now, you guys have won your particular pageants. You've got your crown, you've got your sashes. You're wonderful. What made you join the pageant to begin with? Emily, we'll start with you.
Well, ever since I was in 3rd grade, I have been with ANSO, and I knew that it was based off academic excellence and community service, and I know that that is such an important thing for this community and for people my age, so that I knew it was very important.
What is ANSO?
ANSO is America's National Teenager Scholarship Organization, which is a pageant for anybody and everybody who wants to participate.
Wonderful, and you have to have good grades and be well-balanced all around.
Definitely, yes.
Lennon, you are Nebraska's Junior princess. Why did you join the pageant?
Well, I didn't have any sister queens, so I thought if I won this pageant, I would have sister queens.
And you won, so how many sister queens do you have?
6.
6, and are they good sisters to you? Do they all live at home with you?
No.
No, and I bet mom and dad are happy about that, but they're great friends. So when you joined the pageant, did you join it to win or just to compete?
Well, of course I entered to compete, but hoping to come out with a win. And I knew that if I tried my hardest and I was confident about myself, then I could come out with a win.
And you did. And
Yes.
when you won, how did you feel?
I was, of course, over the moon happy about it.
Sure.
I knew that I've tried so hard and done my best, so it was about time. I was happy about it.
Good. And Lennon, when you joined the pageant, did you join to win or to have fun?
Win.
You win. You're a competitive person. You like to win. And when they announced your name as a winner, how did you feel?
Happy.
Happy? And you were also happy to meet all the sisters that became your friends. So what talent did you do for this show?
My talent was I did a solo, which was a jazz solo to Super Love, which was a dance.
And how much did you have to practice for that dance?
A lot. I practiced a lot, as much as I could, about every single night until I knew I was confident about it.
And at what point did you finally say to yourself, I'm confident, and how much practice did that take?
It took a lot of practice. I basically practiced at my house every single night until I knew the dance, and that I could do it in my sleep, basically.
Wonderful. So it became like second nature. We didn't have to think about it. So I have a question for you, the viewer. Here is someone with a talent, and they waited for that moment of confidence to occur. And as you heard, the way they got that confidence is simply by practicing and practicing and practicing. So my question to you is, when you get ready for competition, and by the way, you're in competition every day when you're at work, when you're at competition, how often do you stop practicing? How often do you say to yourself, you know what, I don't have that confidence yet, and because I don't have it now, I'm never going to have it. Well, we need to take a very, very important lesson from Emily, because she just explained to us what it takes to have that talent, what it takes to be competitive, and that is always practice for that moment of confidence. So, Lennon, what did you do in your contest for your talents?
I did lollipop, I hula hooped, cartwheeled, I back somersault, and front somersault, and I tapped.
Wow, all in one show? You know, I have to tell you something. I have to admit that I cannot do a back somersault. I cannot do a tap. So I'm in envy of you. I think that's terrific. And did you have to practice for that, or did you say, I'm just going to go on stage and I'm not going to practice?
Well, at school I have a talent show, and I did it, so I know it because I practiced and practiced for a long, long time.
So there you go again. You've got a 7-year-old and an 8th grader who are giving us such valuable life lessons. And that is something that each and every one of us should really take to heart. So, question, you're on stage, and how nervous were you, and what did you do to get over your nervousness?
Well, as you know, I'm a dancer, so I've been on stage. I love being on stage a lot. So after a while, my butterflies kind of went away, which means I'm not as nervous anymore.
And did you do anything special to make sure you don't get nervous? Is there anything that went through your mind?
I just make sure to breathe and take my time, not work myself out about it, and I get an anxiety. I just calm myself down.
So it was just self-control.
Yeah.
And that's a great advice for every one of us. We all get nervous. It's all natural. But then again, if you just keep on thinking about it and you think about the success that you will have, the nerves go away. Lennon, were you nervous when you got up on stage?
A little bit, but now I'm good because the first pageant I was very nervous.
And how did you do your first pageant?
Good.
Good. You didn't let that nervousness stop you. And you didn't say to anybody, especially yourself, well, I'm nervous and I'm not going to compete. That didn't bother you, did it? And it shouldn't bother any one of us either, because nerves are a perfect part of life, but never, ever let it stop you from doing what you love to do. So I understand that your grandmother lives someplace, and you go there and you entertain. What do you do?
Me and my friends, we go to a dance place. It's called acrobatics, and we do a dance, then we show it to our grandma.
And to your grandma and to other people, or just to your grandma?
To the other people too.
And do you love it when they smile and they see this magnificent 7-year-old perform? Is that why you do it, to get them to smile?
I don't know.
No, that's okay. But it makes you happy when they smile, right? Yes. And I also understand that you are putting together a fundraiser for clothing for people who can't afford it, and especially in the very cold weather. Am I right about that? Can you tell me something about that, what you do?
Well, we're going to put on a fashion show, and I'm going to be one of the models, my mom said. And we're going to collect clothes, put them in a basket, and we're going to take them to the homeless shelter.
And you also do work for the Open Door Mission? That's marvelous. And why do you do these things? Because you know what most 7-year-olds do? They play with video games. They play with the American dolls. They don't take their time to go out and help others. Why do you do that? I love that about you. Why do you do that?
Because it helps other people and it's kind of fun.
You bet. Now, how about each and every one of us? What do we do to help other people? Here we have someone who is 7 years old, and believe me, she doesn't have a script. This comes from her heart. This comes from her soul. Each and every one of us, because I know I am, should be touched by this marvelous giving back attitude. And I have a hunch that's why she is the winner of the Nebraska Jr Princess. I think that's fantastic. So, when you grow up, what do you want to be? What do you want to do?
I would want to be a Miss Nebraska, or I would want to be a hockey player on the Abs team, or I want to be helping animals.
Wow, 3 things that she wants to do when she grows up. Now, some of us are adults, which is great. Do we know what we want to do when we grow up? And by the way, that could be retirement, that could be job advancement, because if we do, we'll get there. Because I have a sneaking suspicion that years from now, if this TV show continues, we'll have her sitting here as Miss Nebraska. And then some sports person will interview her for doing marvelous things in the hockey world. I think that's terrific. Each and every one of us should take a lesson from that. So, Emily, let's learn more about you. What do you love to do?
I love to do running, reading, biking. I most love to do dance, which I compete at Nebraska Dance Company, and we do a competition about every other weekend. I love dancing with pretty much my second family. It's just a lot of fun.
And correct me if I'm wrong, even when you do all of that, you do art, and you're on the National Honor Society?
Yes.
All of that combined with everything that you do.
Yes.
So I've got to ask you the same question I asked her. How do you find the time to do that? Because most adults, we can't even find the time to cook dinner.
Yes. I have to definitely prioritize my time and don't procrastinate. I have to do things when they need to be done, before they need to be done, almost before they're even done. So I just know that I can be organized and on top of my game.
And how do you know you're on top of your game?
Just staying organized and simply, sometimes I even have to have my mom help me, which is okay.
That's okay, absolutely. Now, do you go to your mom for help?
Yes, of course.
And that's very important because sometimes we find ourselves, well, we're not necessarily achieving our goals. And what do? We just say we're not achieving our goals. But there's nothing wrong with reaching out to a friend. There's nothing wrong with reaching out to a spouse. There's nothing wrong with reaching out to a friend or anybody and simply saying, I need help. Just help me along. And when you do that, what's going to happen? They're going to give you advice, they're going to give you guidance, and you're going to be what? You're going to be successful. So when you are in these dance competitions, you obviously want to win, and you put a lot of practice behind it. So I got to ask you, what happens when you don't win?
Well, of course, it's not all about winning. It's just about knowing that you did your best. And inside, if you know that you did your best and you tried your hardest, then that's still a win inside for you.
Can anybody phrase that any better? I know I can't. And it's just that great feeling even when you don't win. I'm not even going to use the word if, because we can't win in everything. As long as you know you gave it your all, as long as you know that you were able to take everything that you've got inside of you and bring it up to the surface and get so much out of it, that is what is going to make a remarkable individual like the 2 folks that we have here. So your goals in the future, what do you want to do when you get older? What's your aspirations?
My aspiration is to go to medical school and then become an anesthesiologist. That's been what I want to become when I grow up since I was probably about 6 years old, and hopefully I will achieve that.
An anesthesiologist
Yes.
and a doctor, so you're willing to go through all those years
Yes.
of medical practice to put people to sleep.
Yes.
I think it's great. That's great. And you know that right now, and you're doing all your honor society work for that. You're putting together this wonderful portfolio of recommendations, this wonderful portfolio of success. But you've got one thing left to do, and that's the Nationals.
Yes.
So let's talk about that. When are the Nationals coming up?
The Nationals are at the end of July and in the beginning of August, and basically everybody that has a title from ANSO will go and compete and for the national title. And it's not about winning, it's just about meeting all the girls from the other states and just becoming friends.
So when you get there, what kind of practice will you be doing, and what talent will you also be doing?
My talent will be solo again, probably my lyrical solo from last year, which should be really fun. And basically just practicing, I don't have to constantly practice and get myself worked up about it. I just have to take my time and know that I can still do my best.
There it is, right there. So if you don't win, how are you going to feel? And when you do win, how are you going to feel? And which feeling do you prefer?
Well, I mean, both of them are about the same, because if you know that you won inside, that's great, like I said before. But it doesn't matter if you won or didn't. It just, as long as you know that you did your best, that's what matters. And if you lose, that's okay.
Yes, yes. And the only reason people lose, by the way, is yes, you have done your best. No problem with that whatsoever. But yet, there is someone else who might not have done even better than you, but they just might have a different skill or a different talent. So don't take it personal. We can't get into the mind of the judges. We just have to make sure that what we do, we feel great about. Emily, if there was one thing that you would like everybody to remember about you, what would that be?
Well, not just about me, but about ANSO, is that ANSO is based off academic excellence and community service, and hopefully next year, each year ANSO is growing, and hopefully next year I can crown somebody who has the same mindset as me.
Excellent. And the community service, again, what is it that you do in the community?
Well, one of my favorite services that I've done before was Huggables for the homeless, and what I did was I made blankets for a shelter, and I took it to them last winter to keep them warm.
And you guys have that in common because Lennon likes to keep people warm too in the winter, which is why you're putting together this fashion show. It's just miraculous how both of you guys think alike. So, Lennon, what would you like everybody to remember about you?
I want them to remember you should probably do pageants if it's fun for you. And I want people to do pageants and do your best and forget the rest.
Do your best and forget the rest. Now, how many of us would have thought of that saying? And I have a hunch that is a saying that you guys have in your family, that everybody lives by. Am I right? Mm-hmm. And that's something that you've said to yourself as a 7-year-old, I'm going to do my best and I'm going to forget the rest. It is something that is so heartwarming. It is something that will make people feel so good. So, what have we learned in the time that we've been with these marvelous folks? Number one, we all know this, do your best. Make yourself feel terrific. Do things for other people. Go ahead and give back to the community. Make friends when you're doing it. And both of these marvelous young ladies, they also said, let's have fun with everything that we do. And let's remember that there are other people out there who are not as fortunate as us. There are other people out there, whether we are in 8th grade, whether we are a 7-year-old, whether we're in our 60s or 50s or 40s, that there is so much that we can do. Ladies, I want to thank you so much for everything that you taught us, because you have inspired me, you have inspired the viewers, and I know that one day you will become not only Miss Nebraska, you will become Miss America, and you'll be a great hockey player, and I know that you're going to be one of the best doctors in your profession. And everybody's going to be so lucky to have you as an anesthesiologist.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for being on the show.
Thank you.
And you know, many of us say to ourselves the following thing, I can't wait. You know how you always say that, I can't wait for my vacation, I can't wait for this, pardon me, I can't wait for that. And all we do is what? We do the one thing that we say we don't want to do, and that is we can't wait. So what I would like everybody to do between now and the next show, I want you to go ahead and make a list. And on that list, I want you to write the things that you can't wait for. And then say to yourself, you're right, I can't wait for it. This is what I'm going to start doing right now to make sure that these things don't have to be waited on or waited for, because now I'm going to start with my action steps. And we've learned from these marvelous individuals how to do it. She wants to be an anesthesiologist. She's not going to wait. She's setting her roots and foundations right now. And of course, our 7-year-old did the exact same thing. Lennon said, this is who I want to be. This is what I'm going to do. And she's not waiting either, and neither should any one of us. So never say again, I can't wait. Say to yourself, I'm going to start now. I'm going to do the planning. I'm going to get it started. So one of the great things we learned this week from the show were the following. We learned about gift wrapping. Always make sure that when everybody sees you during the day, during the evening, you've got your best image, just like when you wrap something up for a gift. Because when you've got that great image, what's going to happen? People are going to really be expecting you being someone great, someone that was just picked out to help them feel better. And of course, we learned about the TV show stars, that right now, these people are getting their pilots. They're going to be on television because they practiced everything that needed to be done. And they are going to be very successful, just like you. It might not be a TV show, but it'll be something that you've always aspired to be, that you've always practiced for. And what are you going to do with that I can't wait list? You know it. You're not going to wait. You're going to put a date that you want to accomplish it by, and you're going to put a date and an action steps that's going to make it happen for you, just like you learned from Emily and just like you learned from Lennon. Because one of the things I want you to take away from this show is no matter what age you're at, any goal, any aspiration, anything that you want to achieve is achievable. Because sometimes our best teachers are our youngsters. Sometimes the best teachers are those that win or compete in pageants. Sometimes our best teachers are those that give back to the community. And that's what we learned this week on your Omaha High with Andy Greenberg. But I got to tell you, next week when you come back, we're going to have another great show. And we're going to have another great guest who has done something terrific. I can't tell you who it is because there's national prominence coming to this person within the next 2 weeks. So where are you going to be next week at this time? On your Omaha High with Andy Greenberg for that feel-good show about you, Omaha, and its people. See you then. Your Omaha High with Andy Greenberg was sponsored by Best Buy Signs, creator of the Omaha Parks Program, OmahaFastFoods.com, Certified Transmission, Sholdit, Ratella's Italian Bakery, La Peeps Restaurant, 2 Men and a Truck, Shout Weekly, Critter Control, Russ Kaplan Investments.